First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Tonight, October 16, 2015, a Gainesville school, that's been around for decades hosts its first real football game on campus. That's our top story. I'm James Torres.
And I'm Marie Edinger in for Jenna Sands. Thanks for joining us. It's homecoming for the high school, and being the odd man out this week at Citizens Field, the Buchholz Bobcats wanted to try this rather than rent another location. Crystal Bailey joined us now live from Buchholz with more. Crystal?
Hey guys. Yeah, the Bobcats are very excited about tonight. They're expecting a really large crowd, and even though there were some extra costs with playing here instead of at Citizens Field, they're still hoping to make a profit tonight.
In 40 years, Buchholz High has never hosted a football game. That changes tonight.
We anticipate coming out and playing our hardest. The specialness of it will kind of wear off once that first whistle sounds.
Buchholz will host the Bartram Trail Bears while another game goes on at Citizens Field, the downtown venue shared by 3 local high schools. Bleachers to seat an additional 1,200 people were brought in to accommodate the crowd. A number of patrols will be present and security will be tight during the game.
This will be the first time we see how much it really will cost. If it is cost effective, if we can make some money from it, then it may be something we do again.
And because it's homecoming, everyone hopes that being on the home field will result in a win and boost school spirit. Administration even says everyone's repping the Bobcat colors.
Kids are excited. We beat GHS last week. So everybody's really got school spirit. All of the teachers are wearing their shirts today. So if you walk around campus, you'll see a lot of school spirit. So that's the idea, is to get the kids excited about homecoming.
Jesse Hurd was the school's first head coach, and the school field is named after him. He'll be back this evening to give the Bobcats a pep talk before kickoff.
And after the 7:30 game, students can get dressed up for the homecoming dance. So there's a lot of excitement here in Northwest Gainesville. Reporting live from Buchholz High School, Crystal Bailey, WUFT News.
Crystal, thank you, and we'll have much more on that game later in our sports newscast.
Right now in Gainesville, we're getting reports of an accident blocking Waldo Road at 23rd Avenue. Gainesville police recommend avoiding the area. But among the biggest news stories today in Florida, a baby was killed and 3 others critically injured in a crash on a central Florida road involving several vehicles. Crews rushed to the scene of the fatal accident. They say an elderly woman slammed into several other cars after the Friday morning rush in Altamonte Springs, killing a baby and critically injuring the child's parents. It's unclear what caused her to crash, but a total of 6 people were taken to an area hospital. Traffic was practically stopped at the intersection as crews worked to clear the scene and investigators gathered evidence. Sarasota police believe they've found the body of an infant who's been missing since last month. Investigators say a baby's body was found on the property in Northport. They believe it's the body of Chance Walsh, a 9-week-old infant who's been missing since September 9th, when his grandmother asked police to do a well-being check.
The biological parents, Kristen Burry and Joseph Walsh, remain in custody in South Carolina. I can assure this community that there are no other persons of interest that we are looking for, and those individuals remain in custody in South Carolina as we continue our investigation.
Investigators say they've heard conflicting stories. One, that Chance was killed in a car accident, and another that his parents gave him to a stranger in Georgia. South Florida mariners are remembering the crew of the El Faro cargo ship. A memorial was held yesterday in Fort Lauderdale to honor the 33 crew members on board. A bell rang as each member's name was read aloud and a wreath was tossed into the water. Local maritime workers say they're heartbroken and the disaster was a loss for the entire community. The El Faro is believed to have sunk near the Bahamas when it lost propulsion and ended up in Hurricane Joaquin.
Well, back in North Central Florida, we've had just an incredible week of weather, clear blue skies and not a single drop of rain. UF forecaster Rebecca Kopelman joins us from the University of Florida campus, and she's experiencing the weather firsthand. Rebecca, how are you enjoying yourself out there?
It's great, James. I wish you could be out here to enjoy it with me. You've been outside these past couple of days, though. It's the same story. Comfortable conditions, even though those temperatures, they're in the 80s, and they've been there this week. We're still in the 80s across North Florida, but it's because those dew points are lower. They're in the 50s. That's what makes it feel more comfortable outside, and they're going to stay in the 50s tonight, and that's going to allow those temperatures to drop this evening. So we'll be falling out of the 80s into the 70s, into the 60s, and back back into the 50s, 67 degrees by 10 o'clock, and will continue to fall into the 50s by morning. That low of 56 degrees in Gainesville and the 50s across the area. Going to be another pleasant evening. I encourage you to definitely get outside and enjoy this beautiful weather. And if you're wondering if the nice weather is going to continue into this weekend, I'll have more on that coming up. Back to you.
Thanks, Rebecca. Try to soak up as much sun as you can while you're out there. Well, two lucky dogs have found a home in Gainesville after being rescued from Qatar. Kalahari and Bosley are two Saluki dogs. They were brought to the United States by a nonprofit organization called Rescue Salukis Middle East. In Qatar, Salukis are often left for dead in the scorching desert, but thanks to this organization and people like Danielle Schmalberg at the UF Animal Hospital, these dogs are getting a second chance. You can get all the details of this story on our website, WUFT.org. And after painting 14 homes in East Side neighborhoods last year, the Gainesville Community Redevelopment Agency was back at it today.
The CRA has now expanded its program to the downtown Greater Duval area. Ashlyn Reese joins us now in the studio. Ashlyn, what was it like out there?
Marie, James, there was definitely a lot of people power and, of course, a lot of paint. The people benefiting also grabbed a brush or provided refreshments to the volunteers. The homes aren't just getting a fresh coat of paint, but also minor repairs. Days like these help build a sense of community.
The Duval community is taking on new colors today as nonprofit organizations are coming together to spruce up some neighborhood houses.
I had picked 4 or 5 different colors, really.
7 residents and other community groups formed a coalition and reached out to the Gainesville Community Redevelopment Agency for help brightening up the neighborhood.
A survey was mailed out to all the homes in the area, and home repair was listed as the #1 priority of the community.
Malcolm Kiner says volunteer work is a good way to be a contributing member of the community.
Community Redevelopment Agency offered homeowners in the community $500 vouchers for paint and supplies. This will help with the curb appeal of each home.
Project Youth Build members grabbed some paintbrushes today and got right to work. Although many had never painted before, they feel it's important to help out.
I think it's important because you never know what people have going on or what they may be going through, so it's always important to give back.
Community members were overjoyed with the help despite not being quite sure what color to pick.
I said, Malcolm, can I try? He'd say no. Yours is already blocked. I say thank you.
Residents say all this work would have taken the homeowners about 2 months to do on their own.
Tomorrow, a group called Innovative Dads will be hosting a block party and fish fry in the community. Ashlyn Reese, WUFT News.
Ashlyn, thank you. Well, WUFT News First at 5 is just getting started. Coming up, find out the latest on the race to the White House. Stick around. We'll give you the newest polling numbers.
Plus, it'll be a special night on Saturday. We'll see what happens when Tracy Morgan returns to host Saturday Night Live. Those stories and more coming up in entertainment.
And I've been tracking beautiful weather all week long. If you're wondering if it's going to continue for this weekend, I'll break it down for you coming up after the break. Stay with us.